Hi everyone, I hope you are all doing well. I am Ms. Makwetu and I am going to be taking you for History 324 and History 324E. And we will be focusing on South Africa's liberation struggle. We are going to embark on a fascinating journey into the liberation struggle of South Africa. This is critical in our nation's history, shaping the events that have brought us to where we are today. Exploring this period will enable us to gain a deeper understanding of the struggles, the sacrifices, the triumphs that have shaped our society. Our online consultations will be announced on Blackboard. In Alice, I am available in person from 10:30 to 12 on Tuesdays. And you can also email me any questions you might have. And if there's something pressing that you want to ask in person, you can also go ask Prof. Ulrich during her consultation hours. But I am available via email. Okay, so let us enjoy this wonderful course. So I wanted us to kickstart the semester by looking at essay writing. You guys do have an essay that is due on I think, the 13th of October, and I want you guys to write that essay to the best of your ability. So, what is an essay? So the commonly accepted definition of an essay from the Merriam-Webster dictionary is an essay is a short piece of writing on a particular subject that presents the author's own argument or interpretation. Please note that the dictionary definitions may vary slightly depending on the source, but this definition captures the essence of an essay as a concise written composition where the author expresses their viewpoint or analysis on a specific topic. So, an academic essay is a concise and focused piece of writing that is organized around a central idea. So, it is organized around a central idea called a thesis statement. The main point you want to make, which is the main point you want to make in the essay, or a series of interrelated central threads of inquiry. So it is built on evidentiary support. It should make an argument, that is to say, it usually involves using evidentiary support and logical argument to prove a point of view on a particular issue. So, what I'm saying is the goal of an academic essay is to persuade readers of a position or perspective through informed arguments supported with evidence and analysis. So, now, before you start writing, it is important to see writing as a process. So, now we're looking at the process of writing. One does not merely just sit down and finish writing an essay in one go. It doesn't work like that. It is certainly possible to write an essay this way, but the consequent effort is often muddled or it becomes unclear what you're trying to say. You should rework your first draft, edit out errors in grammar and syntax, and make sure that your arguments flow clearly from one paragraph to another. And make sure that your written words get your message across effectively. So the end product of writing an essay should look very, very much different from the first. So before you start writing, analyze the question or topic. So make sure you know exactly what is expected of you. This you may do by subdividing the question into different parts. Make sure that make sure what each section of the question, make sure what each section of the question requires of you, what it requires you to do. You should know then exactly on which area of the topic you need to focus on. Then the next step is you plan your research. So make sure you know on what areas you will focus on. And then you start reading. So make sure you read as widely as possible on the topic, including background information. Make sure you understand. It's very important to understand what you are reading. Now, after that, you start on the thorough, detailed research. So now you make sure you make detailed notes of what you read. You keep a list of complete references. I mean, it is very irritating to have to go back to the library to look up what references you used. And if you don't find those references, then what are you going to do? You won't be able to use that writing. So you need to organize your material and information into a system. Either organize the material by topic or put the most recent information separate from the more dated information. Like I have tons of folders on my laptop where I will date certain readings for certain dates so I can see when did I do these readings, when were these done, so I don't get all my readings muddled up. And then now what you're going to do, you're going to start planning your assignment. So you're going to decide where you want to start, what information you want to include, which points you want to discuss. Then the next step, you're going to structure your writing. You create an outline and plan your essay structure. This will keep you on track. So you plan different subsections or paragraphs that have to be included in the body of the essay. By following the structure that you have set out in the planning stage, you write your assignment. You may want to start with the body of the assignment first and only later write the introduction, or you may write the introduction first. It is not necessary yet to edit your work at this stage. You can try to get down on paper what you want to say. So next up, we're going to look at essay structure. So I have a diagram here in front of you. So an essay begins with an introduction that gives a main point. The essay is supported by a series of body paragraphs with subpoints, and the essay ends with a conclusion. This is a visual, as you can see, this is a visual representation of the structure. And I'm going to break the structure down for you. So when it comes to outlining and structuring your essay, students can have a misconception that, I don't need to structure my essay. I can just start writing it. And I can just dive into it. But this is actually going to lead to your work becoming clumsy. It's going to lack organization. You're going to have inconsistent content that have not been well thought out. You can also have irrelevant information in there, and it's just going to be disorganized paragraphs after another. So this can actually lead to weakening your argument. So we want to build strong, solid arguments. This is why this lecture is very important for your writing. So writing an introduction. So an introduction should include the following. So the introduction should include background information, This is actually made up of 1 or 2 sentences to introduce the topic and give background information. Then there's an essay statement. This introduces the main topic or argument on which the essay is based. Then there's the outline. The outline lets the reader know what the essay covers and how it is organized. Then there's the scope. This section is only needed if the focus of the essay is narrowed. It lets the reader know the focus of the essay. So in front of you, you have a wonderful example of how an introduction should look. So you can see this is a clear example that has been provided. It's a framework of how an introduction should look. So you can see the background in the topic. It says the background in the past 2 years. This is okay. In the past 2 years, the threat of cane toads to the top end of Australia has become an increasing reality. Their numbers continue to steadily increase in Kakadu National Park, and they are causing damage to this pristine environment. That's the background. The person is giving the background. And then the thesis statement of this topic is this essay will discuss the effects of cane toads on the environment of Kakadu National Park and show that they will cause permanent damage to the environment. So that's the thesis statement. And then the outline, this will be seen firstly by discussing the characteristics of cane toads and then examining their predicted long-term effects on the animals of Kakadu and the tourist industry. And that's the outline and the scope. Because there is data available only on the effects of cane toads on goanna, frogs, and crocodiles, these are the only animals that will be discussed. So just going back to, slide 6, what we said. So the background here, we can see the background is made up of 1 or 2 sentences to introduce the topic. So they are introducing the topic. So they're saying in the past 2 years, the threat of cane toads to the top end of Australia is becoming an increasing reality. Their numbers continue to steadily increase in Kakadu National Park, and they are causing damage to the pristine environment. That's the background information. And you can see it's how many sentences? It's 2 sentences that give the background information for this topic that is being researched. And then the essay statement, we can see this essay will discuss the effects of the cane toads on the environment of Kakadu National Park and show that they will cause permanent damage to the environment. So this is the statement. This introduces the main argument on which the essay is based. And then the outline of this introduction, it says, this will be seen firstly by discussing the characteristics of cane toads and then examining their predicted long-term effects on the animals of Kakadu and the tourist industry. Then the outline is letting the reader know what the essay covers and how it is organized. You can see they're saying, firstly, it will discuss this and this and this, and examine this and this. And then the last part of this essay has a scope. And I said a scope is only needed if the focus of the essay is narrowed. So it lets the reader know what the focus is on. So we can see here in this example in front of you, because there is data available on the effects of cane toads in goanna, frogs, and crocodiles, these are the animals that will be discussed. So that is the introduction. And I want you guys to follow these steps for your own introductions. And then here's another example. So this one reads, this second example reads, fruit is an important part of a healthy diet. However, Jones 2010 states that people are eating less fruit because it is becoming more expensive. This paper will argue that one way of combating the rising price of fruit is for local councils to plant more fruit trees in local parks and public areas. Firstly, the paper will identify key terms in the literature around food prices. Secondly, the paper will focus on fruit and examine its role in healthy diets and evaluate recent consumption of fruit. Finally, I will use my personal reflection of the current situation in my hometown to explore a possible response. So, in this one, we can see in green, this is the first sentence. This is the information that gives the reader some orientation and background to the question and the essay topic. So this is very general information in one or two sentences. And then now what we said was the thesis statement. In red, we can see this clearly states what the main argument of the paper is. All of the rest of the information will be used to make this argument. Okay, so doing this will help guide your essay and keep your argument succinct and within the word limit. And then in blue, we can see this section clearly shows the reader what evidence you are going to use and how you are going to present the evidence to support your thesis, right? And you can see they are using how many sentences? Two. You can use two or four. They're using two or four pieces of evidence. And you know they're using words like I will firstly and secondly and finally. Okay, so you're hooking the reader in the first sentence. That's what you do in the first sentence of the introduction. You're hooking the reader. Then you are giving context that will help the readers understand your argument. So this might involve providing brief background information, giving an overview of important academic work or debate on the topic, but you must not overdo it. It's just for taste, okay? So then you present the thesis statement, which is the red. You present the thesis statement. Remember now we said a thesis statement is the main point you want to make in the essay. So the central argument you are going to make is in one or two sentences. It drives the whole essay. And then you end your introduction with the overview of the whole essay. So you're basically saying this will be my essay structure. So you see in this introduction, the person is saying, firstly, the paper will identify key terms in the literature around food prices. Secondly, the paper will focus on fruit and examine its role in healthy diets and evaluate recent consumption of fruit. Then finally, I will use my personal reflection of the current situation in my hometown to explore a possible response. Okay. So now we're going to look at the body section of your essays. So now this is where you develop your argument. This is your battleground, guys. So this is going to be the longest part of your essay. It's about 60 to 80% of your essay. So you make arguments supporting your thesis statement. You provide evidence, you develop your ideas. It is important to make use of paragraphs. And each paragraph should be centered around one argument or idea. Okay. So when we look at the body of your paragraph, right, we have the topic sentence. So The topic sentence, you can introduce the purpose of each paragraph using topic sentences. So a topic sentence says, what is the point? What is the point of this paragraph? So a good topic sentence makes a transition from the previous paragraph and introduces the argument to be made in this paragraph. So then after the topic sentence, there's the evidence. So after the topic sentence, you present evidence by providing the reader with data and examples. Data or examples. You are telling us what you are talking about and giving proof. And then next you explain. You interpret and explain your evidence. You show how it helps develop your overall argument. And then you have your concluding statement. And then, so this is something that links the entire paragraph to the thesis statement, and your paragraph should make sense. Okay, hope that was clear. And then your conclusion, there are three things you need to do. One, you need to summarize and tie together the points you made in the essay's body. Two, you need to show the outcome of your arguments, what new insights have been provided. Number three, you emphasize why your arguments matter. So this is your opportunity to tell us why it mattered that we read your essay. What has your argument helped with? Okay, so we're going to look at paraphrasing, right? Okay, so when you're writing, you paraphrase, right? So here's an example. Okay, it's nice to work with examples. So here's an example. So let's paraphrase the statement. So the statement says, education is the single most important factor in the development of a country, right? And then a student comes and they write, I agree that education is the most important factor in the development of a country. So guys, what is the problem here? So you can see here that the problem is the words are the same exact words, right? Except for the I agree that the student has used the same wording basically. So this is considered plagiarism. So it means that the student is not showing their own abilities. They are copying what someone else has already said, and this can get you into such deep trouble. So you need to paraphrase when you are writing your essay. To paraphrase means we take a sentence and we change it into our own words. So we change the words of a sentence, we change the sentence structure, but we keep the same meaning. So you are using different words and sentence structure to convey the same meaning. So for this sentence, I could rewrite it this way. School stands as the outmost critical element in the progress and advancement of a nation. And then you cite your source, where you got that from. You must always cite your source. So now we're going to be looking at evidence and citation. So where do you guys find evidence? You go to the library's website, and you do some research. By the way, we have designated librarians who are willing to help at the library to help you guys find books and articles on your specific topic, find sources and people. So This means you're finding sources and people that will be backing up what you are saying. So you need all these new ideas to be backed up. So this is where a lot of marks are lost in the use and the application of evidence. So your evidence should support your point and thesis statement. Your evidence must be well supported and explained. So explain it, explain your evidence. And you need to properly cite everything. The university takes plagiarism very seriously. So what you are doing by referencing, citing these authors' ideas is that you are respecting them and their ideas, and you are protecting yourself from getting into trouble. So reference where you get your ideas. Every single idea you get it from somewhere, you reference it. Even if you've put it in your own words, you reference it because that idea comes from someone else's book or journal or paper. So we need to know where your evidence comes from. So you need to properly cite everything. And also don't forget your bibliography at the end of your essay. So after you are done writing and before you submit your work, it is important to proofread your work. So you need to double check your arguments. You need to check your grammar. You need to check your spelling. You need to check your formatting. And you need to check your work for plagiarism. So when you have done all of this, you are good to go. You're done. So please, guys, please go through your learning guides carefully. All the information is there when it comes to writing your essay, how your formatting and everything. The technical aspects are there for essay writing. Please read through your learning guide. It tells you to number the pages at the bottom right side. The font is either Times New Roman or Arial. The size is 12 using 1.5 line spacing. And you justify your work, please. So happy writing, guys. I know you guys are going to write good essays for us. This is an incredible part of our history. So I know you guys are going to enjoy this course. And don't hesitate to contact me if there's anything you are not sure about. Thank you.